everyone, welcome to another session of Webinar Wednesday. In fact, today is a bit special because this is the last session of Webinar Wednesday for the year. So that means to say next week and the week after there won't be training. I think none of you are in the mood for training next 2 weeks also lah, huh? Christmas and then we have the end of the year coming. Okay, I think it's pretty good to end the year after we have a very, I don't think it's a very good year. Okay, hopefully with the announcement of phase 3 and things can get more normal moving forward. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Let me close this first. Okay, how do I hide this? Okay. So today we are covering on market trends. Hopefully you were here last week for Inspector. So why are we taking special attention for these two particular tools is because we have new updates for both of these tools and we wanted to share it with you guys because it really is important. In fact, for market trends, I think this is personally my, as a trainer, it is the most important tool out of everything. Yeah, we have research, we have all the comparison, all the sales transaction, rental transactions, but when you understand how to use the price and volume trends, you can actually generate all sorts of results which you can use to cater to what kind of questions that your clients have for you. Okay, so if you come across a client who is hesitant over getting 99 years, you can generate trends to show them that look, it's not necessary that 99 is not as good as freehold or the other way around. Okay, it's not necessary that freeholds are definitely better than the leaseholds. Okay, other kind of questions is should I buy new launch or resale? What kind of property type or subtype should you invest in? Is there a particular district or region that you should focus on? What kind of property size should you be looking at? Okay, so I mean, of course, some of you, if it's for own stay, it's really dependent on the requirements. Okay, if you have say 2 kids, family of 4, chances are you will need a 3-bedroom unit. Okay, nowadays also because the bedrooms are getting smaller, so I assume, okay, most families would want, or each kid should have their own space. So usually you go for like, say, a 3-bedroom unit, okay? But if it's for investment, what is the size that is ideal for investment for rental, okay? So all these can be derived using market trends, okay? So you can actually generate just one trend or you can do comparison, which when you do a comparison, there's a benchmark. So you know that, oh, A is better than B or B is better than A, okay? So let's get started. If not, I'll be spending all the time explaining but not showing you the tool, right? Okay, so we have the quick disclaimer here as usual. Okay, and if you are new to us, okay, if this is the first time you are here with us, good for you. This is the last training for the year. And you should actually at least save one of the numbers here because we have 3 ladies, Celeste, Zuki, and Sherry. They are your account managers, okay? So depending on which agency you are from, please save the contact number of your respective account managers. They will be able to assist you not just for signing up or renewing, but if you do need any form of help, such as maybe, hey, I want to get this kind of info, which tool should I be using? Or if you come across any technical issues, they would also be the best people to assist you, okay? Of course, sometimes they may be busy in the midst of training or maybe they're on leave right now. So there is an alternative number, which is the office hotline, which you can find on the top left-hand corner, 7793, okay? As well as a office WhatsApp. So if you're wondering, why got number, office call line, hotline, and WhatsApp, is because sometimes if you want to send over screenshots, I think the WhatsApp would be better. Okay, sometimes we can't imagine what you are looking on your screen, so maybe via the WhatsApp, that will be able to help if, let's say, you are coming across, say, some form of situation. Okay, so of course, for the office hotline and WhatsApp, this would be during office hours only. If not, please still look for your account managers. They will also have a backup in the event that they are on leave. Okay. So also we have this edgeprop WhatsApp. So if you're wondering, hey, what's the difference? Just now there's a WhatsApp, now there's another WhatsApp. This is different because the whole idea is for you guys to receive updates from us. So if you want to stay connected with us, if you want to make sure you don't miss any of the best promos or news or events that might be coming up, you should actually subscribe to us. This is the number 88777305. You can also scan the QR code to immediately add this number into your contact list. Okay, so this is the best place that you can stay connected with us. There are other means like the Facebook and the Telegram, but why we decided to launch this is really because we realized that WhatsApp is the most universal across agents. I think none of you, or it's unlikely that any of you do not have WhatsApp. Okay, and this is probably the best place to ensure that you don't miss out on any of the updates that we might have for you guys. Okay. Also, in the event that I am too fast, okay, you can actually revisit today's training once I'm done with the live version. Okay, so once we have ended the session, you would be able to revisit using the same YouTube link that you are accessing right now to this YouTube video right now. Okay, so at the end of the session, once I close the live with the same YouTube link that you used to visit today's training, you'll be able to revisit the training again. Okay, so you can shift the time slider. This part too boring, you can skip. This part more exciting, you can replay. Okay. Now, we will move on to the live demo. I think for market trends, one thing that is very important is that it is very much versatile, okay, because it really depends on what are the filters that you put in. Okay, so depending on the filters you put in, it can answer a lot of different questions that your clients might have for you. Okay, so I'm on the website right now. You should be able to see that I'm on edgeprop.sg. Do take note, for market trends, you can only find this on the website. Okay, so if you're accessing the edgeprop agent app, under the Pro Tools section, you will not be able to find market trends. Okay, at the moment, this can only be found on the website. Okay, so once you are on edgeprop.sg, what you need to do is to mouse over Tools, and under the left hand side, okay, or under the Free Tools section, you will be able to find this one called Market Trends. Okay, so Market Trends, what's trending in property market. So if I click on Market Trends right now, immediately you'll be able to load it. And in case you're wondering, oh, so this is free? Yes, partially free. Okay, so for those of you who haven't have an account with us yet, if you do not have a Pro Tools account with us yet, you will be able to use market trends, but with limited functionalities lah. Okay, so if you have a Pro Tools subscription with us, you will be able to do a lot more. I will show you what is the difference like in a way. Okay, so basically once you are on this page, okay, you will see that there's a set of filters that you can put in, okay, like the project name, tenure, type, district region, transaction, and property size. So if today your intention is to just have a trend, okay, if you want the price and volume trend for a particular project, for instance, all you need to do is just to key in the project name. So example, let's say Hyde Park Residences. Okay, so once you have keyed in the project, there will be a drop down. So your job, okay, to help us is to select the subtype that is, or type or subtype that is relevant to the project that you're keying in. Okay, so for example, apartment condo. Now, if you select a specific project, you will notice that the property type as well as the district region will be blacked out, because this would be fixed to the project that you have selected. However, if you're doing a generic search, okay, so I didn't put in any project for example, and I want to know the, let's say, the apartment condos in Singapore. So whole of Singapore, how the apartment condos are doing. So I'm doing a very generic, a very general search here. All I need to do is to select the property type, okay, so apartment condo. Of course, if you're looking at any other property type or subtype, you can do so as well. You can see that all of them are listed here. We have the apartment condos, the HDBs and their subtypes, the landed, the commercial, as well as the industrial, okay. So if let's say I just want a very generic search, just a general performance for apartment condos in the whole of Singapore, I don't even need to put the tenure, I don't even need to put the district, transaction type or size, okay. So you can put multiple filters at one go, but if you are doing a comparison, which I will show you later, try not to have too many variables, because sometimes you wouldn't know what is the reason for the difference between, say, project A and B, or property type A versus B, like what caused the difference, okay? So you might want to test one by one in terms of the filters before slowly deciding, okay, let's add in one more variable and see how the results change, okay? So in this case, I'm just doing a very generic search apartment condo. But if you wish to put any other filters, you can actually zoom into the tenure. So you can see all the main tenures are listed here. You can also zoom into the district or region. So do take note there is a difference here. So under the district header, we have all the districts D1 all the way to 28. And you will also notice that there is also region stated here. So what is the difference? So under the district header, the regions are broken down into the central, okay, east region, north region, northeast, as well as west region. So they are basically your north, south, east, west lah. And then you have all the districts that are basically parked under all these regions, okay. So you can choose multiple districts, you can choose multiple regions, no problem. Or if you do not select by district, the other option, also by region, but a slightly different demarcation, is your core central region, rest of central region, as well as outside central region. So do take note, this would be a either or, simply because the perimeters for the district as well as these three regions is slightly different. So there may be some overlap, okay. So choose either or, don't choose, try to use both, it's not gonna work, okay. And then also under transaction type, you can actually select all sale, new sales, which is your developer sales, sub-sale before they complete, okay, and then resale as well as rental transactions. We also have the property size function, which allows you to select from the drop down, okay, or key in as well. So if I know a specific size that I'm looking at, maybe I'm looking at this particular project and I know that the one bedrooms are 431 to 506, I can type it in as well, and it can be a very customized kind of size. So that means to say only the transactions that fall under this size that I have stated would actually be accounted for, okay. If not, you can always choose the default size range, okay, or you can just leave it as any size. Oops. Okay, same thing for here, 0 to any size. So back to my original search, what I'm doing here is a general search for apartment condo, okay? So I'm just going to click on show market trends. And you can see over here under results, we have apartment condo, all district, all sizes, all sale, all tenure, okay? So always do a double check over here to make sure that the filters that you have put in is as per what you have wanted, okay? Sometimes, especially if you go back to change the filters, you may overlook some, or it could be a slip of a finger. So always double check to make sure that your filters are correctly input, so that you can get the results that you are truly looking for, okay? So by default, we are looking at the last 3 years. We're not done with December yet. Okay, we're still in the middle of December. But once it is out, you'll be able to see December 2020 as well. Okay, so by default, we'll look at the last 3 months, and last 3 years. Okay, so you can see the time period here. Because I have selected all sales, you will be able to see the breakdown of the volume into the new, sub, and resale. Okay, and then of course total sales will be in this case 52,363. Okay, and we also have by default it will be in monthly setting. Okay, so you can see that the bars over here are broken down into individual months. Okay, the timeline is broken down into individual months, and we also have the average price. Okay, so the orange line is the average price, and the bars, the blue color bars behind is referring to the volume. Okay, so if you mouse over the sort of legend, you'll be able to see it even more clearly. If not, it'll be all into one chart. Okay, so for example now, okay, November 2020, just last month only, what we have is the average price of 1669, and you can also see the breakdown in terms of the new sale, sub-sale, and resale units. Okay, so for all the different time period, click that here. So in this case, the monthly time period, I can actually click on November. Okay, and there will be a drill down on the sort of a summary of the projects, of the transactions that happened in the month of November. Okay, so as of now, I can see that for November, the top selling project is the Link at Beauty World, followed by Landmark, and then you have Garden Residences, Treasure, Forest, Jadescape. Okay, so you can see that by default, it will be sorted by the number of transactions. Okay, so this is currently in the highest to lowest transactions. So you would also notice that all these headers here, you can actually click on them to have your results sorted out. Okay, so I just click on maximum price, and you can see that it is the maximum PSF, and then downwards. Okay, I can also sort by postal code. Okay, 28 to 1 or 1 to 28. And any of the other headers as well. So if I click on project name, it will be by the alphabetical order. Okay, so going back to the top transaction, how do you read the rest of the information? You have the project name, the tenure. Transaction value here is basically all the prices added up for this 118 units. Okay, so you're looking at a total value of $195 million. Okay, and in terms of per square foot, for each for the individual transactions, on average we would be looking at 2185 per square foot in the month of November. Okay, so you can again click to drill down further. So if let's say I click on the link at Beauty World, okay, I would be able to see all the transactions down to the date of caveat, the unit number, property type, apartment or condo, the tenure, new sale, sub-sale, resale, for the type of sale, the unit size, is it strata or landed, the per square foot in terms of price, as well as quantum. Okay, so this is the maximum you can go down to the unit number and the individual transactions. Okay, so from here I can click back, or I can click on the cross on the top right hand to get out of the drill down. Okay, so over here, what other features do we have? So we are right now in the monthly, and you will notice that generally for monthly, because every month there could be a new launch, and or in this case, because I didn't select the location, okay, or the district or region, the price can be quite erratic depending on what happened for that individual month. Okay, so for example here, if you have looked at February followed by March, because of the kick in of COVID, right? That was around that time. So suddenly there was a drastic drop. So with a lot of up and down, sometimes it's very hard to determine whether the market is doing well or not. Okay, so the best way is to give the to have a better idea of the market condition is actually to toggle to either quarterly or yearly, where they combine a couple of months or the entire year's record. Okay, so you can see here under the quarterly breakdown, the line, okay, the average price is generally much more smoother than just now when we were in the monthly chart. Okay, so of course everything will now be in a quarterly breakdown, even for the Q4. So of course do take note, because December is not over yet, so you might see a very drastic difference, especially for the volume. So in this case, do take note that it is not the final result until December is over. Okay, and then we also have the yearly breakdown, which would be even smoother in most cases. You can see how the line is. Okay, so looking at last year and this year, not accounting for the very last month, okay, seems like prices are pretty much stable from 1602, and we are still at 1602 as of now. Okay, so despite COVID coming into the picture, actually prices have remained pretty much stable. And in terms of volume wise, even though when you can see here we have 16,754 and 14,832. So my guess, because we're left with the very last month already, probably slightly lower than 2019. Okay, I do know that there were a few launches in December doing very well, Clavon and all that, but maybe not that much units, because we are looking at about a 2,000 difference here. So maybe we would end with 15 plus thousand, 16,000. Okay, so very, very close in terms of volume and price as well. Okay, so below here you will also notice, regardless whether you are in the monthly, quarterly or yearly, there would also be a growth rate written beside the average price. So what does this mean? Basically, you take the very first time period, so in this case 2013, at 1381, okay, and you take the last time period here, which is Q4 of which is 2020's 1602. So that means to say from 1381 it became 1602, and prices basically has grown by 16%. Okay, so if you wish to find out the growth rate for a time period that is lesser or somewhat in between, what you can do is we actually have two new buttons here that can help you. One of it is a text tool, which basically allows you to describe your chart a little bit better. Okay, so it can be for the overall chart, for example. Okay, so this could be one of the texts, or you could actually do other text to describe a certain growth or drop during the within the chart, or when you're doing comparison, you can also name your different charts accordingly. Okay, so what about this pencil tool right beside here? If I click on it, in this case, because this is a one chart only, you will notice that we have the price and volume in the same chart. Okay, so let's say I'd like to know the change in prices, say from 2015 to 2019. Okay, so I click on price. You can see the pencil here. So 2015, I click on it, and then I click on 2019. You will now see a green color line, okay, green color line with a dotted line here to say that between 2015 to 2019, there was actually an increase of 23%, okay. So just now we have the growth rate of 16%, which is from 2013 to 2020, but actually in between, a lot of growth happened between 15 to 13. Okay, the other one, the front and back there was a fall around 2013, 2014, and then between 2019 to 2020 is pretty much stable. Okay, so you can actually draw lines to look at the growth rate for the price or volume. Okay, so I'm going to try volume now. Same thing, click on the pencil, click on volume, and let's say I want to see the volume from 2014 to 2017. So same thing, I click on 2014 and then I click on 2017. Now if you're looking at volume, the dots will be placed on top of the blue color bars, okay, because we are looking at volume and not the price, okay. So you can see that between 2014 to 2017, there was a 88% growth in terms of volume. Okay, so if we look at the numbers here, in 2014, the total sales is 11,580, and in 2017, the prices, the volume is 21,844. So we're looking at almost 10,000 increase in volume in the between 14 versus 17. Okay, so one thing to take note is when you are drawing the lines, okay, when you're clicking point A and point B, the sequence on which you click the points is important. Okay, so why do I say that? For example, so we have this 2014 to 2017. Remember the very lucky number 88 plus 88. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the cross beside 88 to delete this green color line. Okay, so you can see that it states that the point is deleted and you no longer have that line between 14 and 17. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on volume, and I want to know the difference between 14 and 17, but I'm going to click on 2017 first, followed by 2014. Now you notice this time round, instead of a positive 88%, we are looking at a negative 47%. Now this is because we're looking at it from the perspective that from 2017 to 2014, there was a fall of 47%. Okay, so remember your point A to point B versus your point B to point A makes a difference. Okay, so remember to select your points accordingly depending on the perspective that you want to look at. Okay, so how many lines can you draw in a chart? Maximum 3 lines. Okay, same thing for the text boxes. You can have a maximum of 3 text boxes. So in the case you're doing a comparison, which I'll show you later, you can actually explain or place the text boxes to explain the different lines accordingly. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up now, and right beside results, you will notice that there is a download button as well as a share button. Okay, the one with the arrow pointing downwards is your download button. So if you click on it, you can export to image or PDF. Okay. And the other one is a share button, which allows you to copy the link to a clipboard, or you can also share it on Facebook. Okay. So another thing that I would like to highlight before I share on the comparison function is that you can also adjust the time period here. Okay, there's a time bar. So if you remember, we were at monthly just now, and originally it was last, say, 3 years, right? So when you toggle from monthly, quarterly to yearly, we would actually try to match as much as possible. So maybe let me just refresh this so that you can see it better. Okay, so just now it was November 2017. Oh, I think it's December. Yeah, so this was the original setting at December 2017 to November 2020. And when I toggle to quarterly, okay, you would notice that the time period becomes quarter, right? Sometimes we will try to basically match the time period as close as possible. Of course, if you're looking at December 2017, the closest we can go is Q4, right? But that will also mean that we would include October and November 2017 into the picture. Okay, and then early on we ended with November 2020, but here it basically looks at October, November, and December of 2020. Okay, now when we move to yearly, however, you would notice that by default, the minimum time period that will show up is a 7 years record. Okay, so you can't shift the time slider anything lesser than 7 years. However, if you wish to move the slider, okay, this works for all January, quarterly, and yearly. The longest time period that you can look at is 1995. Okay, that is because we get our record from URA, and URA only has caveated transactions from 95 onwards. Okay, so if I were to toggle back to monthly now, you'll notice that the time period we will try to mimic the time period, and this is the nearest monthly time period. So January 95 all the way to January 2020. Of course, if you wish to make any change, you can further slide it back to November if you want to. Of course, when you're looking at a much longer time period, this is what's going to happen. You will have very, very, very skinny volumes with a lot of overlapping dots due to the space constraint. Okay, so if I go to quarterly, it will look like that. Okay, slightly better. And if you go to yearly, again, it will be much more spread out. Okay, so of course, if you're looking at a much longer time period, one good thing is you will also be able to identify the key situations that happen, okay, the key happenings that happen in the different years. So for example, if we look at this one, 1995 to 2020, you can see we have the Asian financial crisis around 97. We have SARS, which happened in about end 0203. Okay, and then we have the Lehman Brothers and the global financial crisis in 0708. So you can see how the volume fell. Okay, and then around 2010 onwards, it was basically many layers of cooling measures. Okay, and then until today, 2019 to 2020, pretty much affected by the COVID-19. Okay, so try and remember all these key happenings that happen across the years. And then from there, it will be even easier for you to explain to your client, how come this particular time period prices went down or volume went up, or whatever reason that could have contributed to the fall or rise of the price and volume. Okay, now with all this said, so what is the thing that can be done only if you have a Pro 2 subscription, okay? So if I have a Pro 2 subscription, I will be able to generate the chart. Yes, I'll be able to click on the individual bars to see the drill down. The pencil tool and the text box tools can also be accessed only if you have the Pro 2 subscription, okay? Now, the next thing, or should I say the more important thing, is this other function called compare with other property types, which can only be accessed if you have the Pro 2 subscription. And I find this really useful because it helps you to answer all the questions that your client might have for you. So I'm just going to click on compare with other property type. So you can see here now on the top I have one set of filters, and then I have another one which is called compare with property 1. And then I also have another one called compare with property 2. Okay, so I have 3 set of filters here. 1, 2, and 3. So maximum I can compare 3 price volume trends for different property filters. Okay, so let me just collapse the property 2 first, and I just want to do a simple comparison for the tenure. Okay, so a very common question that your clients might have for you. I'm just going to use apartment condo as a example. So they say that I think freehold is definitely better than leasehold. So no matter how you try to convince them that this new launch is very good, maybe, okay, but it is a GLS, it's a 99 years. They are very persistent that the freehold is better. Okay, so let's take a look. Is it true that freeholds always do better than the leaseholds? Okay, so I try and leave everything else the same. So the only thing is apartment condo freehold versus apartment condo leasehold. Okay, so I'm just going to put 999 inside because it's really very close to freehold, and I'm going to compare it with the 999. Okay, because most apartment condos are 999 leaseholds. Okay, and I'm going to click on the compare property button here. Let me expand a little bit there. Okay, so over here you can see under the results, we now have 2 set of filters. The red color to represent the apartment condos which are freehold and 999, compared to the blue color which is your apartment condos which are 999. Okay, so all the other filters we kept it the same so that we know that if there's any difference, it will most likely be because of the tenure. Okay, so just now we were in the 95 to 2020, so you can see how the prices have trend. Just looking at this, you'll notice that actually they are both trending very similarly. Okay, sometimes the gap is smaller, so always take note of the gap between the 2 lines, the 2 price trend lines that you generated. So if the gap is lower or more, that matters. Okay, but overall, I just looking at it with my naked eye, it is pretty much trending in the same direction. There's no very obvious showing that one is doing better than the other. Okay, so same thing if you toggle to quarterly. Okay, same thing, you can see the trends are pretty much mirroring each other. Of course, there may be certain times where the gap is bigger and certain times that the gap is smaller to show that, oh, it might be better to buy one over the other. Okay, so let's look at yearly. Okay, and you can see that the trend again is pretty much going in the same direction. But if we zoom in again, so you can see here, now we are at yearly, and based on this 95 all the way to 2020, the growth rate we have 143 versus 145. So just looking at this, okay, so just to recall, freehold 999 is the red color. So obviously PSF for the freeholds are generally higher, simply because that the tenure is in a way in perpetuity forever. Okay, so usually that would be a 15% plus minus gap in between the freehold and the leasehold prices. Okay, but what is more important is the growth rate. Okay, whether I put $1 or 80 cents, okay, thereafter the returns would still be determined based on the final price, right? So over here you can see that 143 and 145 apparently, okay, if we are looking at the time period as long as 20 years, no, in fact more than this, 25 years, pretty much the same. In fact, the leasehold seem to be doing better, just by a little bit of a 2%. Okay, but of course, you might be wondering, you might not want to look at such a long time period. Okay, let's look at say last 10 years. So I'm going to shift this to 2010. Okay, let's look at the growth rate, 32 to 56. So this is telling you the leaseholds are doing better again. And it's actually pretty obvious here. So you can see at the initial in 2010, it was 1,303 versus almost 1,000. Okay, so there was about a $300 gap here. So you can see how the gap is over time. So from a thick gap in the initial, the gap in between, somewhere here, the gap side quite seem to come together. So you can see the gap here is about 200. So from a 300 gap, it became a 200 gap, 220 gap. And then here, finally, we are looking at about a 150, 160 gap. Okay, so you can see that as the gap changes, the difference in price means that, which one is actually growing faster. Okay, so in this case, it seems that the leaseholds are doing better in general. Of course, do take note, we are not looking at a specific location. We're not looking at a specific project. Okay, so that is important because I'm not saying all freeholds are not as good as leaseholds. Neither am I saying that leaseholds definitely doing better than freehold. Okay, this is just more of an overall price difference, and that's how we can derive whether one is doing better than the other. Okay, from here, okay, without looking at other info, you can also look at it in another way, that is, oh look, because these are inclusive of new sale, sub-sale, and resale. Okay, so maybe the price difference could be because there were a lot of new sales, double nine, and very little of freehold. So all these could have affected the difference in the growth rate. So my recommendation always is to make further changes, play around with the filters to see if it could there be any other reasons that contributed to the difference in the growth rate. Okay, so I'm just going to make one change here, which is, let's look at the new sales versus, okay, let's look at resale first. Okay, let's look at resale versus resale. Okay, so that means to say I don't want the new sales from the GLS to affect the overall performance. So let's see if we are just looking at resale, is is freehold better than leasehold or the other way around. Okay, so remember to click compare, double check that now I am looking at resale versus resale, and then freehold versus leasehold. Okay, you can also see how the growth rate changes across the monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Okay, so 63 versus 59. So in this case, the freeholds are doing better. Okay, then let's look at quarterly. Okay, 54 versus 53. So you can see that there's a difference here already. And if we look at yearly, let me zoom out a bit. Okay, 44 versus 46. Okay, so if you're looking at yearly, again, pretty much, even though now we zoom into resale, you can see that the growth rate is pretty much the same as the all sales, with a gap of about just 2% difference. Okay, and then you can see even more clearly here the price difference in 2010 versus today. Okay, so this is a 200 over about 260, okay, 250, 260 difference versus the initial difference of about 200. Okay, so you can see that the price grab actually increased. So and then overall, pretty much the growth rate, I would say if it's just a couple of percent difference, what you can see is that it doesn't really matter whether is it freehold or leasehold. Okay, so there could be other factors like the location and all that that is affecting whether this particular property would perform well or not. Okay, so in this case, you definitely can show your client and from there derive that the leaseholds would not necessarily do badly. Okay. Now, next thing would be the okay. Let me just show you one more. Okay, I will toggle to new sales versus new sales. Okay, let's see what could be the difference. I would toggle to 2010. I don't think I want to look at a time period too old. Okay, so same thing, new sales versus new sales, and then the 10-year here. Okay, let me toggle to yearly, and let's look at the 2010 to 2020. Okay, so 42 versus 60. Now you see quite a bit of difference between the freehold and the leasehold growth rate. Okay, what does this mean basically? Because we're looking at new sales versus new sales. You would notice that for new sales, the a lot, okay, most of the land, especially in the last 1-2 years, those were from that we have a peak in 2018 with a lot of the en blocs, right? But in the last 1 year, GLS was much more common. You don't have so many en bloc land anymore. Okay, so you can see that, oh, it seems that the prices for the leaseholds are growing much faster. Okay, so from there, some of you might be wondering, hey, does that mean that because when we look at this, we're looking at the price on the overall, all the new launches, wow, prices are increasing. But is this price supported, okay, or is it a not a good price to follow? Because maybe there's a price increase, but it is not supported by the market. Okay, so if you see something like that, you might want to zoom into the type of sale. Okay, so maybe you can start playing around with another one called a new sales versus resale. Okay, so let's just try that one. I'm gonna close the second one, and I'm going to remove the 10-year, and I'm just going to compare apartment condos new sales versus resale. Okay, so over here, let me click on compare. Okay, so new sales versus resale, everything else is the same. We are looking at apartment condos, and you can see, let's just look at yearly. Okay, you can see that in terms of the growth rate, okay, some of you might come across people who are wondering, hey, should I buy new launch or should I buy resale? Resale obviously per square foot is lower in general because it is older. Okay, and then you notice that, oh, you see, initially there was a big gap, and then the gap closed to almost identical in 2012, and then slowly the gap slowly increases. So we want to make sure that the gap, while we know that, okay, new launches in terms of prices for new launches is increasing a lot, is it a good representation? Does it really is the price truly supported, or is it the developer anyhow priced the project? Okay, so from here, if you look at it, you'll notice that, okay, seems like prices are going up, but is it a good buy? You might want to zoom down to individual projects. Okay, so what I will do in this case, for example, in this based on this chart, it seems that, okay, I should buy a new launch instead of a resale, because resale prices are not growing as quickly as the new launches, right? Okay, now I'm going to do one more comparison, but this time round, I'm going to zoom in on individual projects, okay? So let me close this and reset the filter. And let's say I want to compare High Park residences, okay, apartment condo, and then I want to compare it with H2O, okay, and let me compare with one more, which is Seletar Spring. Now these projects, all these three projects are in the same district, very near each other, so that makes them good comparison. Okay, and the difference is when all these projects were being launched. Okay, so a quick one would be High Park just TOP last year in 2019. H2O is probably about 6-7 years old now. Okay, and then this is over about 10 over years old. Okay, so at one point in time, all of these were new launches at the time they were being launched. But if we compare these three and we look at High Park as the new launch as compared to H2O and Seletar Spring, let's see how the prices perform if a person came into the market at that point in time. Okay, so I'm just going to click on compare. Let me explain to you how to look at it. Okay, so we have High Park versus H2O versus Seletar Spring. Everything else I kept it the same. Okay, you'll notice, see, very erratic. If you're looking at monthly, let's look at quarterly. And I want to specifically start in the year 2015, because that is when High Park was launched. So you can see that High Park was launched, the red color one. There was no price trend prior to that. Okay, so I'm going to shift to 2015. Oh, I cannot. Okay, never mind. So from 2015 all the way to 2020, okay, so initially there were some transactions in 1.3 and 1.4 for the other two projects, okay. 2015 was when High Park was being launched. So assuming at that point in time in 2015, you have a client who was thinking, should I buy new launch or resale, okay. So new launch was High Park, or they can consider getting resale, okay, H2O or Seletar Spring. Okay, so you will notice at that point in time, if I had bought High Park, okay, so this is when my pencil comes into place. I click on the pencil, I draw 2015 to 2020, oops, wait, pencil again, okay, click on the dot, okay. So for High Park, there was a growth of about 23%. Okay, the light blue, okay, light blue is H2O. Same time period. Okay, there was a fall of 4%. Okay, and lastly, for Seletar Spring, 152. Did I click on it? Okay, 152. Oops, wait. I think I clicked on the same dot again. Okay, 152 2020. Okay, so you can see here all this is based on 2015 when High Park was being launched until 2020. So if I had bought High Park, I would have made 23%. If I had bought H2O, I would have lost about 4%. Okay, but if I had bought Seletar Spring, I would have made about 3%. But overall, you can see that if I had bought High Park, I would have earned a lot more than the other two. Okay, so when you see an overall performance, sometimes you might want to zoom into a particular project, okay, or a few projects within the same vicinity to really understand whether, you know, do these people who buy this particular project really earn that much money or not. Okay, and whether is it supported by the price increase for all the new launches. Okay, Okay, so this is pretty much it. I hope you have picked up something. Okay, if it's too complicated, try and go back again and revise later when I end the session. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the live chat, and I will move on. Okay, I have like 3 more minutes. I will now move on to a quick quiz, just to make sure you guys have picked up the most important key points from today. Okay. So for those of you who are still with us, what I need you to do is go to menti.com and key in the code 9129323. Okay, so there'll be a total of 5 quiz questions. If you are fast and accurate, you get more points. And the top, okay, most likely the top winner will walk away with a goodie bag. Okay, so go to menti.com, open a new window or new tab, okay, and use this code 9129 323 to join us at our little quiz. And hopefully, okay, you will walk away with our goodie bag if you are our top winner for today. Okay, of course, if you have played before, then give other people a chance to win lah. You can play also, but let's give the prize to those who have not won before. Okay. So seems like everyone is in a very Christmassy mood. We have a Santa Claus and we have a snowflake. Someone is hungry, so I see a hamburger, and then I see someone with a and I don't know what that means. Okay. Final call. Okay. Oh, now I have a bear here, which is okay. Pretty much Santa Claus. Winter mood. Are you all ready to go for holiday? Is anyone going for holiday? Okay. In fact, today's turn up, I noticed, I think a lot of you guys are going for staycations or something already. Nobody's in the mood for training anymore. So I'm so thankful that I still have a bunch of you. Even though it's the end of the year, you're still uh, keeping yourself in momentum, okay, for the coming year ahead. Okay. So I'll just wait a couple more minutes. Of course, if you have any more questions, you can leave them in the live chat. Okay. Hopefully we can have say another 1 or 2 more person join the quiz, and then we will get started. Okay. Because once I start the quiz, you probably won't be able to join anymore, or you don't get the chance to answer all 5 questions. Okay, so last call. Okay, top winner will walk away with a goodie bag. So the goodie bag is pretty good. There's a sports bag, sports towel, cutlery set, quite a few stuff inside the goodie bag, and tea. Okay. So, okay, I think most people who want to join will have joined already. Okay, one more. Very good. Okay, 5 questions. If you are fast and accurate, you get more points. Okay, so which feature is not a new function? Okay, I don't know whether you remember. Okay, one of it is actually an original function that we already have in market trends. Okay, and then 3 of them is new. Okay. Oh, okay. Ayo, why only got 2 people answer? What happened to the other people? Ayo. I see some people totally like got kicked out of the game or something. Okay, so the answer is actually comparison. That is not a new function. Okay. The text tool and the region by OCR, RCR, CCR, that is new. Okay. Pencil tool is also new. Okay, but no problem. Let's still see how it goes. So these are the 4 people who managed to stay inside the game. I think sometimes when I talk too long, the game start to kick people out. Or maybe the internet starts to kick people out. Okay, but that means you have higher chance of winning, which is good. Okay, What is the maximum number of text boxes that you can add? It's a magical number that will keep appearing. That is one hint that so if you didn't catch this and you catch another one, it will be the same number also. Oh, I got more people back. The answer is 3, maximum 3 text boxes. So let's see who is leading right now. We have Daniel, Larry, Ronald, and Tiki. Okay, well done. Andrew. Okay, thanks for joining us on the live chat. You didn't manage to join us, is it, for the actual quiz itself? Okay, so if I want to delete a line that I use to draw with the pencil tool, what thing should I do? So I did demonstrate this earlier, just now. So if you remember, you should get this right. Okay, most of you got it right. I tried to spook people with a refresh button and eraser tool, but there's no such thing. Okay, so there's when we draw the line, there's a percentage to say the growth rate. There's a cross right beside that allows you to click and cancel to delete the line. Okay. And the winner. Okay, so I have again the same 4-person. What is the other 4-person doing? Just add logo inside only, is it? Okay, Larry, followed by Daniel, Tinky, and Ronald. I got a feeling these people are already kicked out of the game, but somehow their names still stay there. Andrew 2, what was my answer? Okay, when using the pencil tool, the sequence of selecting point A and B. Okay, remember I have to click on point A and then I click on point B, or point B first followed by point A, and then there will be a percentage growth rate, right? So does it matter? The answer is false. It matters, okay? It's not does not matter, it matters. So if I click A first then B versus B first then A, the growth rate might be different. One might be positive, one might be negative, okay? Okay, we have false. Oh yeah, some people in the game now. Well done. Like finally. Okay, Larry on the top, followed by Ronald, Tinky, Daniel. Last question, last chance. Okay, how many trends can you compare at one time? Is it 2, 3, or 4? So I have a compare with property 1, compare with property 2, if you remember. So how many can we? Oh, okay, everyone got this right. Good, well done. Okay, maximum 3. Okay, so very easy. 3 text boxes, 3 pencil tool lines, 3 comparison as well. Okay. So our winner is Larry. Okay, well done, Larry. Please take a screenshot of your screen, okay, with your name, burger, and points, and send it to us. Where do you send it to? You can check our live chat. Okay, we'll let you know who to send your screenshot to so that we can arrange for you to pick up your goodie bag. Congratulations. Okay, so with that, seems like not much questions today. So thank you everyone. Of course, if you have any more questions, maybe you don't need to ask me, you can ask your account managers as well. No more training for the next 2 weeks. We will see you back in January. Okay. Meanwhile, have a very Merry Christmas coming soon. Happy New Year. So see you all next year. Okay, bye-bye. Remember to like and share, subscribe. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, before that, see, I'm so happy to end there. I realized I should actually show you the promotion before I move on. Okay, before we go, there is actually a promo that I want to share with you guys. It is for until the end of the year. Okay, until the end of the year. And this is the one, wait. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can show you this. Yeah, okay. So basically, if you sign up with us for Pro Tools or Prop Points, so we have a bundle deal at $599. Or if you already have Pro Tools, you can get Prop Points, which is for leads generation. So regardless which one you sign up for, you actually get a free professional virtual tour. Okay, this is using the Matterport camera. So we actually will have a professional crew and team to go down to take the virtual tour for you. Okay, so this promo is until the end of the year. If you want to know more, check with your account managers. They'll be able to share and explain a bit more. Okay, so with that, thank you everyone. Bye bye.